Hello, hello. This is Aubrey Burch with Easy School Marketing. I am so excited because I'm here with two of my favorite people. We have Christine Hickey, Director of Marketing and Development from St. Martin's in the Field, and Kira Dixon, Director of Admissions and Athletics. Thank you for coming here to really talk to us about in-person virtual events and like what that looks like in your positions, especially in a small school. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about yourself, maybe how long you've been at the school, and a little bit more about St. Martin's in the Field.
Awesome. Great. So thank you for having us. We're really excited to share what we've been doing. We're really proud of everything we've been doing. I'm Kira Dixon. I have been at St. Martin's almost 2 years, but I've only worn the admissions director hat for a little over a year. We are a preschool through 8th grade school in Severna Park, Maryland, just outside of Annapolis. We are in a neighborhood, an area where people move for the public schools. And some of our neighbors are a parochial school and a very large private school. So we kind of fall right in the middle and we compete for all these area students. I'm also the proud parent of 3 students in the school. So I think that adds a little bit, it's very personal to be here and to be a parishioner of the church as well.
Yep. And I'm Christine Hickey. I've been with St. Martin's for a little over a year. I started here last February as the Director of Development and Marketing. Also a proud parent of a Mustang. I have a 4th grader here who loves it. Yeah, it's been great experience for us going from public school to private school. And yeah, we love it.
That's so great. And I will say, because both of you have kids in school, I love being able to see both sides of things because you're working for it. And then as a parent, you see the other perspective, like the side that most people don't get to see. You get to see the emails you receive, the communications, like how things are done. I think it actually makes it easier or more to do your job, or at least to have a holistic view of what your position entails. Do you find that as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially from a marketing perspective, because you think like a parent and you create your marketing around yourself as the demographic. Yeah, I think it's incredibly helpful.
That's so cool. I know that there are several small schools out there that are probably in your position right now, where they are figuring out in-person virtual events, like what to do. We're shifting out of COVID era and into more in person. But I'd love for you to tell a little bit about maybe some recent events you've had or some planning that as to how you're going to proceed in the future moving into like fall 2021 and what that looks like. I know, Christine, you just had a really successful fundraising event. Congratulations, by the way. So if you want to kick us off and talk a little bit about that, I think our small school audience would really appreciate hearing from you.
Sure. So traditionally here, the school always held one major fundraiser event a year. It's always in the spring. And it would be, historically, it was a gala in our field, tented, catered, band, auctions, live appeal, like your traditional gala event. And of course, last year we had to cancel it completely because of COVID. And this year it still was not possible to do an in-person event. So we decided to take 3 school traditions that everybody loves, which is the school variety show, the spaghetti dinner, which our Parents Association usually hosts, and this gala, and kind of merge them together into one big spring event virtually. So we offered our families for $150 ticket. You got admission to the virtual variety show. You got access to the silent auction, and you got this awesome dinner bag. Oh, which we have one right here. This bag.
Oh my goodness. I love it.
Yeah. So it had the spaghetti and meatball dinner in it, salad, dessert, bread, all kinds of little goodies, like a spice packet with oil to dip your bread in, and
wine
glasses, a bottle of wine, which all the wine we had donated by parents and liquor stores, and a little kids craft thing. It was like a make your own balloon animal kind of thing, and little placemats and napkins and things like that, all around this Italian theme. So parents came on the day of the event at dismissal, picked up their bag, and then the idea was to go home, heat up your dinner, and watch the student variety show. So it was great. We used a platform called One Cause. I don't know if you're familiar, which was fantastic because it allowed us to set up this really cool interactive screen for the evening. And you could actually watch the show and look at the silent auction at the same time. And we could go from filmed variety show to a live intermission and then back to film variety show. So during the live intermission, our head of school came on and talked about the appeal and really got the audience going with donations. And then also on the screen, you could see like the thermometer rising as we were going. And so he'd say, oh, we made $8,000, let's make it 10. And then you just see the numbers rolling and rolling. As far as the format went, it was seamless and smooth. And we were able to have sponsors appear on the screen. We also did a printed program to send home with families in the dinner bag so that they could see the list of the acts, and then we sold the ads in there. So we had sponsor ads as well as another source of income. So it was great. It was for figuring out the whole concept and executing it for the first time. It went very smooth. I would say it was stressful and a ton of work, but it went really well. It went really well. And I think one of the keys was the committee that I had. One of the major keys was the committee. We had some great parent volunteers and the PA, our parent association. And they weren't just volunteers because part of that event was traditionally their event, the spaghetti dinner part, and we made it a hybrid. They were invested in it as well. So they were working just as hard as I was to make it a success because they were invested in it. You know, this was their event too. And really, as you with internally in our administration, with everybody wearing so many hats, I didn't have a lot of internal help. So having a really strong volunteer team was vital to making it happen and making it successful. So yeah, we raised $60,000. It was great, way more than we expected. And we're happy and relieved. And look forward to putting a good chunk of it toward technology for the students for next year. So that's exciting.
That's so great. First of all, kudos for doing it. I think going into when you've traditionally done an event in person and then having to flip it and then learn everything, how it should be and how to engage people online, it's a lot of work. I know a couple of the development directors that I work with are like looking forward. They're like, oh goodness, that was just as much work as putting on a live, in fact, even more in some cases.
There's no doubt. We worked so hard for every ticket that we sold. We got so creative with, you know, there's only so many emails you could send asking people to buy tickets. So then it was getting in the carpool line with signs and getting our mascot outside and giving away a Chick-fil-A lunch to the kids so that the kids would then go home and tell their parents they needed to buy tickets so that their class could win this lunch. Like, you know, you had to get really creative and build a ton of excitement around the concept because it was new to everyone.
Yes. And I think we were reaching this point this year of some parents having Zoom fatigue. So then you have to think like, how do we make this different? And it sounds like you did that. I love the idea of the basket that you sent home so that dinner was all prepped and the kids had an activity so mom and dad could actually pay attention during the time of fundraising, because all parents know that period of time at night is not always the smoothest, and to have every little help you can get is much appreciated.
Yep.
I think that's fabulous. And you combined events and traditions you already have, which I think was such a interesting and intelligent way of figuring out how to use your resources too, and still accomplish the same thing.
Yeah. And it was a test also to take it from what traditionally was just an adult event to a family event. And I think families really enjoyed it, and it engaged a lot more families. We also included videos from our preschool students performing all the way up to 8th grade. So every class was, if they wanted to be involved, they were involved. Every family had a reason to buy a ticket and be there, which was nice.
And the teachers really bought in too. That can be a challenge sometimes, but there were kids writing good luck posters for each other on the day of the event. So they were bringing the excitement home too.
Yeah.
That was special.
That's true.
That's so cute. I love it. It really is bringing the community together and making sure that they can do it in a way that feels inclusive and fun. So,
right. Also, it was a nice opportunity for our families to donate back too. Many families bought a dinner basket for a teacher and donated it back to the teacher. So again, just building that sense of community and doing something nice for teachers when we couldn't really do the normal traditional things that we would do every year. So that part was great also.
And teachers needed that this year.
No doubt. No
So
doubt.
I'm glad to see. That's so fantastic. Well, congratulations on your event. And thank you for sharing those tips of like how you made it interesting and intriguing. Because I don't think we're out of the woods yet for virtual events. I think we're still in that in-between stage.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
That's where we are. Now, Kira, I would love to hear from you. I know you have some upcoming events that are virtual, but also what your thoughts are as in admissions as we move towards fall 2021.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's been quite a year because we have increased our enrollment. We're not quite double what we were. We were at 160 in summer 2020 or spring 2020, but we started fall 2020 with 227 students. We're looking at next year. I have enrollment now 280.
Yeah.
That's why she didn't have any internal help. We were too busy enrolling students.
Well, first, congratulations on that.
No,
Yeah, it's huge.
It's really exciting, really exciting. So in the fall, we did an open house that was outdoor only, which we talked about in the fall. That worked well, but we've been doing after school tours, in-person tours. The kids have been in person 100% this whole year, 5 days a week, full time. So we managed to do after school tours between the time that the kids leave and the cleaning crew comes through. So we have a window. So I'm here every day, say hello to the cleaners as I walk out the door. But it's been working really well. Families, for the most part, they've got the choice of coming and doing a Zoom tour during the day, and I'll take them around and they can see the classroom live. That just, it worked for some people, but really most people still wanted that in person, want to see the classroom, look around, touch the walls, if you will. So this spring, we just got approved to have in-person shadow days for some of our middle school kids, which has been really awesome because the middle schoolers are a little bit of a tougher sell. So having a shadow day where you come in and spend the day, the parents call me at the end of the day, like, how do we sign up? Like, we want in. We're so excited because the kids are so happy to be here. So we're shifting more and more in person, which is great. And I've been able to use the examples. Some of the other local schools are doing it. And luckily, everyone in this community is so willing to collaborate. And they've shared, here's the document we send, or here's some schools are not having the shadows come during lunchtime because they think that's too much of a risk. We eat outside every day. That's something we've always done. So we've asked the parents, of course, first, if that would be okay, but little things like that. But we do have new parent orientation coming up, and that will still be virtual. It's going to be too big of a group. And, when you try to do something like that outdoors, it's really challenging. And I think even the Episcopal Diocese, who we still are under their umbrella, and they're still saying 50 people at a gathering. So we'd have to have a dozen school representatives at one of those. So we would have to hold 5 or 6 events to invite new parents.
But we will do later in the summer the events
we'll
we've done in the past.
Grade level,
Yes.
by grade level. So this will, so we've got some excitement too here. Our head of school is leaving after several years, and we've just announced our new interim head. So we've got all the logistics to coordinate in the transition between the two of them as well.
Wow. I have to say, you two are very busy. I'm just picturing, because I've having worked in a school and worked in admissions and development and marketing, I'm like, wow, that's a lot going on during a pandemic and a new head of school and all these things. Yeah. Kira, I think what you said, there's so many things that I'd like to unpack, but I really liked how you said, like, we're at the point where even though we want to hold in person, sometimes, like you said, the 50 limit or something, we have to weigh. So would that be like 10 different parent orientations in order to get it down to that size? And then you're thinking of your staffing, right? Or resources, like then all the 12 administrators have to attend all of them. So it's making that call and that decision, like when is it an in-person event and when is it going to be virtual, just because of resources and what's currently being allowed. And I think like you made a great decision on like parent orientation. Like the purpose is to get the information to them. And then it sounds like you have throughout the summer, smaller, more in-person things to get people into the community and to bond with their peer groups, which I think is so important as a mom. I think of that all the time. I'm like, it would be lovely to talk to the 12th graders, but really my kids are 6 and 9. So I want to talk to the parents their age. So that's great that you're doing that. As we head into fall, are you going to continue expanding your tours or shadow days to include, like, are you going to go back more to the standard thing? Do you think, like the standard practice?
So you mentioned that I'm also athletic director, which
Yes.
I'm also the soccer coach. So in the fall, this past fall, it worked out that we weren't able to have sports. We did do after school clubs and activities, and I had soccer a couple of days a week, but on the other days I could do tours. This fall, presumably soccer will be every day after school. So my fingers are crossed that we'll get a little bit more traditional with the tours. I think none of us can predict the future, but my best guess is that our children will still be in masks and our teachers will still be in masks next year. So I don't know that I'll be able to have whole families coming through for tours during the school day, but certainly the shadow students, I think that we can manage that. So there's still a lot of questions about how we'll coordinate that. We loved doing the outdoor open house this fall. We thought it was really effective having everyone all in one place the whole time. Part of me doesn't want to have an open house where everybody wanders around and who knows who they're talking to and what they're looking at and where their focus is. I don't know, but
I know you had such a successful one too. When you were sharing it, by the way, Kira and Christine are part of our small school leaders group. They're such great contributors and they always update us on what's going on in their school and giving tips. And when Kira reported about her open house, everyone was just blown away because it seems like you delivered an experience that was even probably better than the normal open house experience because you said everyone was in one place. They got to see each other. You could create that customized, personalized experience for the people arriving. You weren't wondering where they were on campus and what their experience was, who they bumped into, like, did they find the people they needed to find and stuff like that. It sounded like that was really successful. So you're maybe considering making that more of the norm for the future, or you're just going to see what's going on in the fall because we all don't know.
That's the tricky part where we hope we never have to do a virtual fundraiser again. However, it was really successful.
That's right. And I would like to mention that you all wear many hats and that Kira also drives the bus for
Literally
after-school activities. So anyone out there who is not a small school administrator, just know that you end up doing whatever it takes. It's setting up the tables, like driving the bus,
Although
everything.
she's the brave one in this duo. I do not drive the bus.
Hey, we've got access to a really nice lacrosse field, but it's a bus. It would be too far to walk. So got to get the kids
The
there.
bus was necessary. Well, congratulations on everything that you've done at your school. I'm just so impressed. And I'm so grateful that you're willing to share this with the other small schools out there who are in the same position as you. So many of us are wondering, in person, virtual, like what are we doing with our events? How do we weigh the pros and cons? How can we make this interesting so people can attend? Because Zoom fatigue or like safe so that people feel safe coming, those sorts of things. So I think you've done an amazing job. I can't wait to hear what's coming up for you all next. So I look forward to seeing you at our next small school leaders, but thank you so much for being on here today. And I'm just so grateful for you sharing your words of wisdom.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're thrilled to share.
And before we go, please tell people where they can find you.
St. Martin's in the Field Episcopal School in Severna Park, Maryland.
Great. Please check them out. And they are amazing. And they have been doing some great things as a small school, and they've been helping and supporting others in the community. So thank you all. Thanks for coming on. And I look forward to catching you up with you in the Small School Leaders.